I was frustrated. When I heard they were going to the ICU, they were contemplating cutting my legs, they didn't know if I was going to be alive, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They delayed my surgery.
So, but you were in the coma for a bit?
Yes, yes.
How long was that?
I don't remember, I think it was like 2-3 days or 4 days or something. A lot of this stuff was happening while I was in a wheelchair, which is not exactly how I pictured it happening. My leg still hurts, you know. There are surgeries
your leg
that
still hurt?
Yeah, I'm still going to do another surgery. I used to underrate afrobeat artists that I don't used to really rate what they did until I got into the genre myself. Mom just wants me to succeed in anything that I do. I just dropped all other passion that, you know, I thought that I had because I used to want to act at some point. I used to want to be a dancer, just everything entertainment. I just wanted to do it. Growing up, I spent a lot of time alone.
Why did you spend so much time at home as a child? Alone as a child?
Come for me.
Essentially, you know, your career started when you were 19.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that we saw in the public. When did you finish uni?
Last year.
Oh, so you just finished it. So so your career started as you were still in uni.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that because I was thinking, okay, if his career started at 19, that doesn't mean he finished when he was 18.
No, so the thing is, it started at 19 because my career started with like freestyle videos and stuff like that. So I was 17, you know, 16, 17, 18, but 19 was when I started to like put out, you know, music on like platforms like Apple Music and Spotify, you know. So
Where were you when you started doing the videos? Where were you raised? In Lagos?
In Lagos, yes, in Lagos.
Yeah.
But I was in school. The time I was active the most on Instagram, I was schooling as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I can't believe that in these busy years, you're actually in school. Like, first and foremost, why did you think you had to finish it? And then how easy was it to do both at the same time?
I mean, education is something that, you know, we really value in my family.
Yeah.
So making that decision to finish, that's something that I really considered, you know, influenced my decision. My mom and my dad, I don't think they would be happy if I wasn't a graduate. Right. So I had to do that. And it wasn't easy, right, because I used to juggle between school and, you know, doing music up until like my finals. That's when like I kind of like had breathing space, and I was in like Lagos most of the time. I'll just go back if I was needed. So yeah.
Right. So you're saying it became easier in the last year?
Yes.
Why did it become easier? I thought the last year would be when it's more difficult.
Because for me, to be honest, that's when like, you know, I knew what I wanted to do with my life. So I didn't take. It became easy because I made that choice.
Right.
I didn't take it as serious, you know, as I should have. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why, because if I wanted to really do it, like graduate with good grades and stuff like that, I would have been in school like most of the time, but I had something more important.
So you made your peace with,
yes.
And music is something more important.
Yes.
How early did you know that you wanted to do music? How young were you?
So I think is when I finished secondary school, right? And then I got the opportunity to start going to the studio and stuff like that. I just dropped all other passion that, you know, I thought that I had because I used to want to act at some point. I used to want to be a dancer, just everything entertainment. I just wanted to do it. I used to even draw like really well, but when I started going to the studio, that's when I knew it, because I love this more than everything else. So like 16, 17, 19, 18, 19, that's when I knew that, okay, this is what I want to do with my life.
Was there a song you heard in your childhood or your teenage years that made you think, I absolutely want to be a singer?
I didn't even always be a singer,
Right.
But of course, it wasn't like a particular song, but when I used to listen to my favorite rappers back then, like, you know, MI, Ice Prince, there's a feeling that just came with listening to them. It's like I wanted to do it at that level too. I wanted people to appreciate me just the way, I appreciated, what they were doing. I wanted to do it in a way that was brilliant as well. It will make me challenge myself, want to keep writing better raps and stuff like that. So, yeah, just people that I looked up to, Drake, Kendrick, all the rappers in Nigeria. I used to listen to like a whole lot of rap songs, even indigenous rap, Fino, Olamide, all those guys, like just listening to them was like,
Fired you up.
yeah.
You say your family treasures education.
Yes.
Like, what does your dad do?
My dad is a businessman.
Right.
He used to sell lights, like chandeliers and stuff like that in Alaba.
Right.
And then my mom, she worked in education, but not like she wasn't a teacher.
It's
She
just in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, you're an Igbo boy, so nobody needs to ask you, why do your parents value education? Like, Igbo parents don't play with those things.
Yes.
So you were born in Lagos, you grew up in Lagos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you go to school in
the East,
Yes.
right? So.
And was that a comfortable experience for you as a Lagos boy?
So it was, my subconscious already was in the East because a lot of the people that grew up around me as well, like my family friends, cousins, or my older ones, they all schooled in the East.
Right.
So I just thought that was something to do.
Yeah.
Right. But when I was in SS3 and I was doing like the freestyle often on my Instagram, I used to come across other people just like myself that was doing it as well. And I came across this guy's page called Positive. And when I watched his freestyle, he blew my mind, and I saw he was in Futo, right? So because I watched that video, I just made the decision. When I got into Futo, he was the first person I linked up with. Like I just almost like that's what I was going to school to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What was that link up like? Was it what you thought it was going to be?
Just like as I expected, we would freestyle the whole day, rap to like different beats. I wanted to know the producers he worked with in school, and I wanted to know, his colleagues in school as well, like who were the guys that were doing it, and he just gave me that connect. So, yeah.
Where's he now?
I tried to reach him like a few weeks ago, but the number didn't go through, and I asked one of his friends about him, but I haven't heard from him in a while.
So that's what I'm asking is, isn't it an interesting thing that you've had some incredible success, a lot of incredible success in your career.
Yes.
And then you went into school, inspired by somebody else. And then you learn in life that that's not how the world works. That the fact that somebody got somewhere before you doesn't mean... Is that something that has struck you at some point in your life where you think, when life is weird, isn't it?
Yes, very, very. That's just like...
And when you think about that, does that scare you?
Does it?
What does it make you, how does it make you feel?
I mean, the thing is, like, there are lessons that I take out of experiences like that, it's like the constant need to keep evolving and adapting to like different situations, just so that, you're on track with who you're destined to be. Some people get lost in like situations that they find themselves in and they don't even know. So when I look at like certain people's life, I know not to make like similar mistakes and know the need to be inspired, So
So 2020, when you essentially began to release to the public, so to speak, like proper music, what was the process of releasing the first thing?
So end of 2019, that's when I started making music that were like original in the sense that I stopped using YouTube beats because up until that point, that's
publicly
what I
available
doing.
beats.
So I started making music with beats like produced by like producers that I know, and then I reached out to my former manager and I told him that, he was an event planner, stuff like that. And I saw the way like I was able to like bring people together, and I thought I could use that skill, to get in touch with the young people, especially in this part of Lagos, because that's where his events used to happen. So I reached out to him. I played him the records that I had at the time, and he thought it was amazing. So COVID happened. We kept in touch, and then COVID happened, and then we all came back to Lagos, and that's when I started to work for real. Remember I told you I was a rapper at the time,
Yes.
but when I came back to Lagos, linked up with him, we had like this small camp where he invited like other producers as well, and I made more music, and that's when I discovered that I could sing this well, and you know, and that's when I wanted to do Afrobeats, because I realized like it was important for me to get in touch with my roots. I feel like I would have, you know, communicated faster to like my immediate environment if I was able to learn that. So started making Afrobeats, and he told me he knew some other guy who does events. That's Alaji Poppin. He is the owner of Mainland Block Party. Then he reached out to him, and Alaji really liked the music, and you know, he's like, you know what, why don't we put out a body of work to introduce you? It would be a collaboration with Mainland Block Party. I like the idea, and my manager at the time thought the idea was interesting, so yeah.
Let me tell you that, like, when I interview Afrobeats acts, sometimes I first go and check, like, my Apple Music to be sure that I have a song by the person.
Yes.
I didn't need to check whether I had a song by, because there are three of the songs that have been on my Apple Music since I knew you.
Yeah.
I can, like, as we were talking, I was literally hearing your voice on Holy Father. I was just thinking to myself, so you know when you hear the refrain on your head, and Pray, and Soweto remix, which is one of my favorite videos ever, because I think that when you're thinking about like the Afrobeat sound, something about that video just captures the new sound. So I can't understand how you didn't know early enough that you could sing.
I mean, my producers prior to that time they always used to tell me that, look, at the end of the day, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And I always just say no. Because I thought it was like, you know, it was simple. I'm like, there's nothing technical about singing. Is it not just to go and sing? I used to underrate Afrobeat artists, and I don't used to really rate what they did until I got into the genre myself, and I realized that, you know, to make people like what you do, to make it look easy when it's not exactly easy is even much more complex than what I was doing at the time. So,
it's like, I think that it's like taking what makes people tick at a time and simplifying it. Not just complex. When people listen to a song, and you know they're busy living their lives, but then this music makes it make sense to them. Yeah, it's, people think it's easy, but you know, when Afrobeat became popular, people say, oh, you know, they are doing the bang bang ding music. Like, there is nothing simple about what you are saying.
It's not.
Okay, so help me understand. So you know, your new album came out this year. Stubborn. In June, I think. Yes. But some reviewers said it's your second album. Some people say that Saturn was your first album. Some people say this is your debut album. Which one is it?
This is my debut album.
So why are they saying that Saturn is your debut album?
So I think on music platforms, they registered the Outlaw. I don't know how they put up the Outlaw EP, but it's like the album column, right? Instead of an EP column. So I think that confuses people, but I'll fix that.
And this year, there was that beautiful image of your mom hugging David, you know, and just being so emotional. How do you talk to your mom regularly about your music and your growth, and how much of a part of it has she been?
My mom is like, you know, I love my mom so much, right?
I can see that.
I basically like tell her everything that happens, you know. I think my mom just wants me to succeed in anything that I do, right? And now, me being a musician, you know, the support that she gives me, the prayers that she offers, you know, it just makes me go to her for advice, because I know where it comes from, where she tells me certain things. It comes from like genuine care. Do you get what I'm saying? Because like she loves me so much as well, and I can see that. So I go to her for advice and just to know her thoughts on like certain things, and you know, I pretty much keep her involved in the process. You know? So,
where does your music come from?
My music?
Yes.
I mean, it comes from here. Obviously.
But where's there? What does there mean? Like, what are the things that form there?
You know, my inspirations over like different times like has like really changed. Right? When I came into the industry, going from being a rapper to being a singer, my inspiration came from, trying to show people that I can do this as well. I can sing, I try to show people the brilliance in my music. My second EP, the same thing, trying to show people how well, I've mastered my craft, like how well, like I know this afrobeat thing. That's what the Outlaw EP was about with Soweto. And then the album, right? So the album, it's in between trying to prove that point and just trying to show people different sides of Victony that they don't know, like trying to be more comfortable in the scene, right? Trying to show myself through my arts, so at different point, like it just changes. And now post the album, these days I've always been making like music that like really like tallies with like my experiences, that really express like how I feel. It's not more a thing of brilliance. It's not more a thing of showing people that, oh, I can do this. I feel like I've done that, and if at this point you don't agree, that's fine, but right now that's just what I'm doing. So yeah, that's where my music comes from. Yeah.
Would you call yourself an introverted or an outgoing child?
I'm an outgoing person, right? But I mean, growing up, I spent a lot of time alone, right? Right from like my senior secondary school up until the point where I got into university, and so I feel like spending time alone kind of like made me introverted, even if that's not who I wanted to be. It's just like the conditions that I've, situations that I found myself in. So yeah, but right now I would say introverted because I don't like to go out too much.
Yeah. Why did you spend so much time at home as a child, alone as a child?
Because at the time, my dad started trading in like Ghana. I think that's when things got like a little bit tough for like the family. So my mom went to Owerri. My dad was trading in Ghana. My siblings were in school or were just somewhere else. So it was just me at home.
So you were literally alone at home?
Yes.
How old are you at this time?
15, 16 years.
Right, okay, well, you're a bit older. So you were in secondary school at the time.
Yes.
And did you understand what was going on? Like in terms of the difficulty the family was going through and all of that?
Not really. I mean, I used to hear how much they talked about it or whatnot, but I was just pretty content with what was going on, and I just believed somewhere that it was going to pass. I don't know how, but I mean, and that's exactly what happened. I set my mind on, the better picture, right? But yeah.
What were you doing at home when you were alone?
I used to make more freestyle videos, write more music, watch movies, hang out with friends, and stuff like that.
Would you have preferred if things were different in terms of those times spent alone? Or are you looking back now and thinking, those are the times I needed for my talent?
No. Because I had clarity on like what I really wanted to do with my life in those moments. Like I identified myself on time, right? And I feel like being alone allowed me to do that. But again, the downside of being alone was it affected like my socializing skills, and that's something like I recently just discovered that's why like I'm often misunderstood, right? Especially by my friends or like, certain people, because I didn't have the communication skills necessary for me to like, even when I was in university, I was still like, I spent most of my time like alone.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have close friends?
Right now?
Yes.
No, I don't think I have any close friends right now.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Do I have a girlfriend? Right now, yes.
Yes, right. So is that the reason why you are not worried?
Well,
because you have somebody that you are talking to, you're gisting with, you're sharing with.
Even with her, it's not the smoothest experience. Like we still have like our fights and what's not. So even my relationship with my girlfriend is a learning experience, right? We, knowing where I've wronged her, knowing where she's wronged me, and we talk about it, and I'm able to see where I'm at fault and stuff like that. So, and because like I want to really be aware, I want to be, you know, be a good person for the relationship, right? So because I'm working towards that, you know, it goes back to what I'm saying. Even from forever working for the good, right? It's like just to make sure like my relationship with people is always healthy. Makes me
So who do you tell your real secrets to?
my secrets?
Yeah.
My mom, I tell her,
Yeah.
you know, I tell my family, tell my mom.
You tell your mom or you tell your family?
It depends, like, you know, they are selective, you know. There's some people you go to because they will understand this part of you. There's some people you go to, so it's just really, you know, the closest people to me in my life, being my family, and some friends that I have that, you know, some people that I see as, you know, they are way more older than I am, but they are like my friends. I just go to them for advice because they must have been in similar situations.
Yeah, you've had a lot of success. You've had a lot of accomplishments in your life. Do you think that they have made you happier as a person?
Yes, they have. Yes, they have made me happier because, you know, there are certain things I don't worry about. You know, like just my financial state is good, the fact that I could take care of me and certain people in my life, you know, being as a result of this success. Yes, it's made me happy, but, you know, it's also brought like a lot of like, you know, rough paths for me to like take.
And I love how you say it because the process of thinking through and having creates its own misery. I love the way. I mean, you see that first of all, that sounds like a line. That sounds like a line in the song.
Yeah.
But because and anybody who listens to your music knows it's not. I'm not surprised by the way that you're thinking about things.
Yeah.
Do you think that would you say sometimes you overthink?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Have you seen that altogether? I mean, it's great for the music.
Yes.
But is it great for one, the business? Is it great for one, the enjoyment of life?
Yes, it's good for the music, like you mentioned, but
Yes.
sometimes it's bad for business.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's bad for the enjoyment of life. You know, like my sister will oftentimes tell me that she's worried, you know, like, are you enjoying your life? Like, are you living? Like, you go to all these shows, you've just come back from tour. It's like everybody around me is like popping bottles and whatnot. I'm like, oh, we thank God, and then I'll just go back to sleep and stuff like that. She's worried that I'm not in the moment, and it's kind of like true because when I overthink, right, it takes away my ability to like be in the present, you know, just always thinking about what's next, right? And it's bad for business in the sense that it makes me very slow to decision, you know, because if it's not the way I want it to come out, I won't do it at all. But sometimes you just have to do it, you know, because that's what's right for the time. It's not like that's what's best, but just
that's what the moment calls for.
That's what the moment calls for, but, you know, it affects me badly, so yeah.
Let's go back to 2021. You know, the accident that changed your life, you know, so to speak, in terms of. So, you know, 2020, like you said, you have been doing this from 2019, 2020, you started into the public, and you're on the up, and then this accident happens. Did you think that this was the end?
No, I didn't think that was the end. You know, I just felt like that was unexpected because I said things that I don't expect to happen to me, but it happens to me. I'm like, damn, you know, and that's just how I thought about it. I thought about it as a period, you know, a downtime, you know, but it's not like when it happened, I'm like, oh, this is just that time. I was frustrated.
You were frustrated?
Yes, I was frustrated because, I mean, Holy Father was supposed to come out and, you know, being in a wheelchair and doing the Holy Father thing, you know, that's not what I wanted because I don't like people to feel pity for me. Like, I hate it so much, you know. But after a while, I got out of.
When you think about that accident, is it something you rather not think about, or you have comfortably processed it? You know,
Yeah, I feel like
you're a processor.
But yeah, I'm living with it.
Yeah.
You know, my leg still hurts. You know, there are
Oh, your
surgeries
leg
that,
still hurts?
Yeah, I'm still going to do another surgery.
Right.
You know, it's like I'm living with it. You know, but
Right.
I've just accepted that experience. That, you know, that's what is making me who I am today. You
Yeah.
know, as to my story.
Yeah.
So it's not like it doesn't come to mind, but you know, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be identified with it.
With
I
it,
just want
yes.
it to be part of my story.
Yeah. But you lost somebody in that accident, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was the person a friend?
So we just met like a few days
Right.
before.
Yeah. Was there a survivor's guilt from that?
Yes. Yes. For some reason, I just felt like, you know, if I was awake, probably, I don't know why I felt that way, right? But, you know, sleeping off made me feel away,
Yeah.
right? I just felt bad that, you know, he didn't make it and I did. You know, I was really surprised because they didn't let me know up until like I was awake, and then a few weeks later, you know, it took away some joy that I had, because I was very happy to be awake. Even as I was angry and frustrated, I was still happy, you know, that I was alive. And that was a time where I got to like connect with my family again, like just spend time with them, because prior to then I was like just moving.
Yeah.
So I was grateful for that. And when the news came, I didn't know how to feel. Not like I really knew him, but there's somebody I caught the vibe with.
Yeah.
He was just sitting very close to me.
Yeah.
You know, it was so crazy. I'm like, he's like, just hearing his death is like, it's heavy.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, in the process of thinking about it, you know, survivor's guilt came and stuff like that. But like, I snapped out of it. It's not something I lived with for a long time.
So you say when you woke up, so but you were in a coma for a bit?
Yes. Yes.
How long was that?
I don't remember. I think it was like 2-3 days or 4 days or something like that.
Do you remember anything about that experience? Because you know that we human beings, we don't have, all of us don't have these kinds of experiences.
Yeah.
So we hear all these things about it. You go
yes.
to heaven, you know, your life flashes within your eyes. You are hearing people around you talking. Did any of that happen, or there was none of those drama with?
So I don't remember what happened while I was unconscious.
Yeah.
Right. But I knew I had an accident.
Yeah.
And when I wake up and I saw my dad, I was surprised that it was that serious. You know, when I see my parents, I'm like, because what I expected is, you know, we'll just get it done, like fix whatever needs to be fixed, you know, get treatment and leave the hospital. But I didn't even know I was unconscious for that. When I heard, you know, stuff that happened, like, you know, they were going to the ICU, they were contemplating cutting my legs, they didn't know if I was going to be alive, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They delayed my surgery and stuff like that. I'm like, wow.
All
this
of this
happened.
happened.
So,
Yeah. But you say you felt a bit guilty about sleeping off, but you were not driving, were you?
No.
Yes. So you were sleeping off by yourself.
Yes.
But just the idea that maybe you could have reached out.
Yes.
It's all of those things. And were you? I mean, you've explained about that 11. I think you were 11 months on the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were talking about the Holy Father thing. Was there a fear? Because you had to do some things with the wheelchair. Was there a fear that, okay, what if this is going to be what it is for a while?
No.
No, you didn't?
No. Once I asked the doctor.
And they gave you the clarity.
Me, I like to be very positive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like to even read bad news or watch. I don't like that, you know. So I don't like to think that this kind of stuff like is possible with me, you know, and until it happens. But if it doesn't happen, I'll forever believe that, you know, something good is going to come.
Everybody in the country heard or saw or watched or heard their children talking about that moment in the Davido concert when you stood up. It's just like, you know, everybody loves a recovery story. It's just like, and you're already a fave people liked you, you know, and you don't look like someone that looks for trouble. And so, were you amazed by how much goodwill? It's as if people were waiting for you to recover.
To be honest, I didn't really soak in those moments, right? And that's part of the things where, you know, people around me are worried that, you know, am I really enjoying like success or whatnot, right? Like, when I went on Instagram and I posted a photo, though, the love I got was like overwhelming, right? But I really felt it, and that was it. Like, after that day, you know, we just went back. So I didn't really pay attention to what was happening.
Yeah.
But now I hear stories like, oh, I stood up from the wheelchair, it made me cry.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
you guys really felt that way. I didn't know it was.
Yeah. Thank God you said your management is worried. But me, I'm worried. Why? It feels like you are disconnecting
Yeah.
from heavy emotion, whether good or bad. Refusing to allow yourself be moved by these things.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's just unconscious, right? Like I'm always focused on what's next, right? I have like this before now, because I'm trying not to be that person anymore. I have like this image of where I want to get to and stuff like that. And the fact that, you know, a lot of this stuff was happening while I was in a wheelchair, which is not exactly how I pictured it happening. You know, I always just felt like, yeah, I can't wait to like get up on my feet and keep doing this thing like how I wanted to do it. But those moments I needed to like soak in and actually know that's what was happening. You know, it was like crazy. You know, so.
Tell me a moment you've actually soaked in.
Yes. This album, right? If you notice, like I've been like really after my US tour, like I've been like very quiet. I don't know if you follow me on socials. Like I haven't posted like a lot these days, cause that's all I've been doing. Like, you know, I don't want to keep doing this and now break down later. Like I had to like, you know, relax and know that's okay. Yeah, this is where we are now. God, I'm grateful for everything that's happened up until this point. Who do you want me to be next? Like, where are we heading next? Like, what do I need to fix? What were my shortcomings, you know, up until now? And that's